So welcome friends. Today we'll be seeing about the part 4 Ministry of Education. Whatever we'll be discussing here, you will find this in Vision IS document on government schemes for prelims 2021. So let's start. In the earlier parts, we had already seen few of the schemes till Udan. In this video, we'll be looking at EBSBP, that is Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat program, then TECIP, Technical Education Quality Improvement program, then schemes for higher education, youth in apprentice and skills, that is Shreyash, and then Unnat Bharat Abhiyan. So if we get enough time, then we can cover miscellaneous initiatives also. Otherwise, we'll be making a separate part on the miscellaneous initiatives. Okay. Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat program. Here the objective is to actively enhance interaction between people of diverse cultures. Okay, living in different states and union territories in India to promote greater mutual understanding amongst them. So the point for Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat program, EBSB program, is to enhance interaction between people of diverse cultures. We know India is a land of diversity. So that is why we say that in unity in diversity. So for to have to enhancing the interaction between people of diverse cultures, this Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat program has been initiated under Ministry of Education, wherein people living in different states and union territories in India, so that it would promote greater mutual understanding amongst them. Okay, now in this each year every state or union territory, it is implemented in all states. So each year every state or union territory would be paired with another state or union territory in India for reciprocal interaction between people. Here the main purpose is promoting unity in diversity. So to promote reciprocal interaction between two people, every state will be paired with another state in India. The paired states, what will they do? It will enter into memorandum of understandings with each other to carry out common activities under Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat program. So one state will be paired with other states so that together they can carry out some common activity. Rashtriya Ekta Shivers are organized under this program by Kendriya Vidyalaya Sangathan. So which school is promoting this? It is Kendriya Vidyalaya Sangathan. What would they do? They would create Rashtriya Ekta Shivers under so Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat program under Ministry of Education. Under this, two states would be paired and they would do common activities. Rashtriya Ekta Shivers would be organized by Kendriya Vidyalaya Sangathan. Now comes Technical Education Quality Improvement Program, that is TECIP. What is TECIP? Technical Education Quality. Earlier we had read about EQIP that you would find in the previous video. In this video we are studying about TECIP. TEQIP, and it was EQIP, EQIP. So TECIP is Technical Education Quality Improvement Program. Okay. And it equips educational quality improvement and inclusion program. It is for, just as the name suggests, it's technical educational quality improvement. So that would focus only on the technical education. So it is to overhaul the quality of technical education in low income states and special category states. So this TECIP program is not for all the states, rather it is for low income states. Not since this is a program of Ministry of Education, don't think that it is for low education or low literate states. Rather it is for low income states and special category states. To employ graduates from premier colleges, in this graduates from premier colleges like IITs, NITs, etc. to teach in engineering colleges in backward districts for a period of 3 years as a part of TECIP phase 3. So as a part of TECIP phase 3, since it's low income states or special category states, what it is like mentoring. Who will mentor? These are the students from top premier institutes, like graduates from top premier institutes like IITs, NITs. They will teach in educational colleges in backward districts, not backward states or something. It is in backward districts. So teach in engineering colleges in backward districts for a period of 3 years. About the program, the project implemented as a central sector scheme. So this is the first scheme that we have read through from part 1 to part 4, which is a central sector scheme. Otherwise, before this, whatever scheme we have read about, it was centrally sponsored scheme. So TECIP is central sector scheme, which commenced with the World Bank assistance. So another program that we read in part 1 itself, World Bank aided project, that was STARS. program, that is strengthening teaching and learning and results of states. Okay, so that was a centrally sponsored scheme by under this World Bank assistance project. Okay, as long as term program of 10 to 12 years. This one, the project is implemented under central sector scheme, that is it would be fully under central control, commenced within the World Bank assistance as long as a program of 10 to 12 years. So TechIP would be a 10 to 12 years program. The present third phase of the scheme has central, eastern and northeastern in region and hill states as its focus state. So southern state is not the focus state of TechIP. Focus state is central, eastern and northeastern, not even northern region. The measures under TechIP include, one is institution based, one is student based. So what is institution based? Accreditation of the courses through National Board of Accreditation, governance reforms, improving the processes, digital initiatives, securing autonomy for colleges. So one is accreditation of the courses. There will be many courses, not all courses have accreditation. So for accreditation of courses through National Board of Accreditation, right? Second is securing autonomy for colleges. Colleges would have autonomy. Other than that, one is governance reforms, and it would improve the processes and also digital initiatives. So anything, any policy or any educational initiative that we have seen through the foremost thing that has been taken care is of the governance reforms and the digital initiative. So in mains, whatever you get regarding Ministry of Education or any reforms or policies, two things would be common: governance reforms and digital initiatives improvement. Okay, that was institution based. Student based is improving the quality of teaching, teacher training, quality of teaching to be improved, teacher training to be improved, equipping the classrooms, revision of syllabus, industry interaction, compulsory internship for students. So this is very important. Under TechIP, there would be compulsory internships for students, training the students in industry relevant skills, preparing them for GATE exam as well. So what we have seen till now, students, they have degrees, they qualify well, but many fail to clear their entrance examinations. This is not because they are not good in their academics, it is because they don't have that particular know-how on how to attempt these type of questions, or how to go about study, how to cover the syllabuses and those all. So I think this is a very good initiative under TechIP that has been taken, where students will be prepared for their GATE exam as well. Okay, and compulsory internships for students, right? So under this scheme, TechIP, what is TechIP? Technical Educational Quality Improvement Program. So under this, what would be done? It is students would volunteer themselves for teaching in backward regions from top premier institutes for a period of 3 years. It is a World Bank assisted project, and hence it is for 10 to 12 years. It is a central sector scheme. Also, project is aimed at central, eastern, northeastern states, and also the hill states would be its focus state. There are measures taken under TechIP, that is Technical Educational Improvement Quality Improvement Program. It is, one is institute based and one is student based. Under institution based, accreditation would be given to courses, governance reforms would be brought about, digital initiatives to be taken, and also autonomy for colleges would be provided. Student based, improving the quality of teaching, teacher training to be introduced, compulsory internship for students, and also preparing the student for the GATE exam, right? Now, schemes for higher education, youth in apprenticeship and skills, that is Shreyas. What is Shreyas? Scheme for higher education, youth in apprenticeship and skills. So it's very difficult to remember this, but still you try to remember. Scheme for higher education, HR higher education. Okay, scheme for higher education, youth in apprenticeship and skills. So it is for apprenticeship program and skills. Okay, scheme for higher education, youth in apprenticeship and skills to improve employability of students. So under this Shreyas, it would improve the employability of students by introducing employment relevance learning process. So it was very important, employment relevance learning process to be included in school curriculum, higher education curriculum of the higher education system. So it is to improve the employability of students by introducing employment relevance into the learning process of higher education system. To forge a close functional link between education and industry or service sectors on a sustainable basis. So there should be a functional link between education and industry or service sector. So the students who do their degree, they get at least some kind of job when they pass out. Otherwise, we see that unemployment is a big concern of today's developing India. Until and unless unemployment is dealt with, there would be the economic development or the rise of India would not be sustainable, and this can be done right from higher education sector. Okay, to provide skills which are in demand, to establish an earn while you learn system into higher education. This thing we have already in the foreign, because when you see students that who goes for their degrees in foreign, they include themselves into various part-time jobs so that they can take care of their own educational needs or other needs that arise during in their stay outside. So this would be a great help for the parents who don't wish to send their children to school because of certain economical constraints. So under the share schemes, government is trying to increase the employability of students so that employment relevance in the learning process is included, and hence they can earn while they learn. Okay, it would create a functional link between education and industry or service sectors. It is to help business or industry in securing good quality manpower. Okay, so for the students it would mean that they would get certain economic benefits. For business or industry, they would be assured of good manpower. To link student community with employment facilitating efforts of the government. Okay, so this was the gap between demand and supply. What the problem arises is of the gap that is there. Either those who are demanding don't get where the supply, or those who gives the supply don't get the demand. So it is like this. Here the demand is from the job sector and the supply is from the student community. So the gap that arose between these two, Shreyas is a good initiative to mingle between these two and act as a bridge, so that a good economic development comes about. Okay, salient features. It will be implemented by the sector skill councils, SSCs. So sector skill councils, TechIP would be implemented by sector skills council. It aims to cover 50 lakh students by 2022. Very important. Sectors. It is implemented by sector skills councils, assisted by World. No, the TechIP was assisted by World Bank Group. Okay, here it is, we are studying about Shreyas. Shreyas is being implemented by Sector Skills Council. Okay, it aims to cover 50 lakh students by 2022. 50 lakh students by 2022. What we also aim for, doubling farmers' income by 2022. New India strategy at 2022. So the 75th year of independence is very important, because keeping in mind that 75th year of independence, various programs or various schemes have been brought about by government of India, so that India rises as a new India. India emerges as a new India. So one was doubling farmers' income in 2022. Here it is covering 50 lakh students by 2022 under the Shreyas program. Financing under the NAPS scheme. Central government shares 25% of the stipend per month, subject to a maximum of 1500 per month during the period of the apprenticeship. So during the period of apprenticeship, central government will be given 25% of the money, which is at max 1500 per month to the students. Okay. Apart from that, an amount of rupees 7500 will be met towards basic training cost where needed. So apart from this, 75% training cost would also be given. Program basket comprising the initiative of 3 central ministries. So 3 central ministries are involved in this. One is Ministry of Education, those who are giving the formal education in colleges, like introduction of BA, BSc, BCom professional courses in the higher educational institutions. So it is taking first for only engineering students, but Shreyas is for BA, BSc, BCom professional courses in higher educational institutions. Then we have Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. Why? Because as the name suggests, apprenticeship and skills. So skill ministry is included. Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship under the National Apprenticeship Promotion Scheme, NAPS, National Apprenticeship Promotion Scheme. So here financing would be done under the NAP scheme that we have seen earlier, wherein National Apprenticeship Promotion Scheme, central government would share 25% of the stipend per month, subject to a maximum of rupees 1500 per month during the period of apprenticeship. Okay. So we have seen 3 ministries One was Ministry of Education, Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, Ministry of Labour and Employment. So NAPS, National Apprenticeship Promotion Scheme, was under Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, then Ministry of Labour and Employment and National Career Service. There are simultaneous implementations along three tracks. One is add-on apprenticeship, second is embedded apprenticeship, third is linking National Career Service with colleges. Add-on apprenticeship, where students who are currently completing the degree program, those who are currently completing the degree program would be invited to choose a job role of their choice from selected list of apprenticeship job roles given by the sector skill council. So sector skill councils will give a list of apprenticeship jobs, and students have to compulsorily select one from those lists with students who are completing the degree program. Then we have embedded apprenticeship. So under this, they would be invited to choose a job role. Under embedded apprenticeship, there would be mandatory apprenticeships ranging from 6 months to 10 months. So embedded apprenticeship, there would be mandatory apprenticeship for 6 to 10 months. Under this, BWOC programs would be restructured. Linking National Career Service with colleges. The National Career Service portal of Ministry of Labour and Employment would be linked with higher education institutions. So under Shreyas program, the Shreyas program is scheme for higher education, youth in apprenticeship and skills. It is for employability of students and introducing employment relevance into learning process, functional link between education and industry or service sectors on a sustainable basis. It is like earn while you run, and to help business and industry get good quality manpower, to link student community with employment facilitating efforts of the government. It is implemented by the sector skills councils and it would cover 50 lakh students by 2022. Financing would be done under NAPS scheme, wherein government would take care. Central government shares 25% of the stipend money, which is not more than 1500 per month during this period of apprenticeship. Apart from this, an amount of rupees 7500 would be given towards basic training cost where needed. 3 central ministries involved, and also 3 tracks would be implemented. Add-on apprenticeship, that is students who are completing degree program to choose a selected list from sector skills councils, a list of apprenticeship. Then we have embedded apprenticeship, where it would be to restructure, where the BWOC programs would be structured for mandatory apprenticeships for 6 to 10 months depending on requirement scheme, and National Career Service would be linked with colleges, higher educational institutions. Then we have Unnat Bharat Abhiyan. Unnat Bharat, that is Developed Bharat. It is to enable higher educational institutions to work with people of rural India. It would enable higher educational institutions to work with the people of rural India in identifying development challenges and evolving appropriate solutions for accelerating sustainable growth. Not just growth, rather sustainable growth. How sustainable growth would be taken care of? Not only when urban India is growing, but also rural India is focused on. Under this, Ministry of Education has come up for Unnat Bharat Abhiyan, wherein problems would be seen for rural India, development aspects or development challenges would be identified and appropriate solutions would be evolved. Providing rural India with professional resource support from institutes of higher education, especially those which have acquired academic excellence in the fields of science, engineering, technology and management. Unnat Bharat Abhiyan professional resource support will be given where academic excellence is obtained in science, engineering, technology and management, building institutional capacity in higher education and research and training relevant to the national needs, especially that of rural India. IIT Delhi designated as coordinating institute for UBA. IIT Delhi has been designated as a coordinating institute for UBA, that is Unnat Bharat Abhiyan. Under this, institutions have been selected on a challenge mode. Unnat Bharat Abhiyan on a challenge mode, institutions have been selected. That is 750 reputed higher education institutes, both public and private. So, public institute as well as private institute of the country has been roped in under Unnat Bharat Abhiyan, almost 750. Students from these institutes, what will they do? They will adopt villages, stay there, understand the lifestyle, get to know about the problems faced by them, and then they can give appropriate solutions to them. That was Unnat Bharat Abhiyan by IIT Delhi. Before this, we have seen Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat program. Then we have seen TECI, Technical Educational Quality Improvement Program in Technical Education. Miscellaneous initiatives. Kalam program for IP literacy and awareness. Kapila campaign. What is Kalam program for IP literacy? It is intellectual property literacy and awareness. Kapila campaign. Kapila Kalam program for intellectual property literacy and awareness campaign was launched on the 89th birth anniversary of former president and scientist late Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, where it is on the birth anniversary of late Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam for intellectual property awareness. Why intellectual property awareness is important in higher educational institutions? Because there are many institutes where in different clubs, since there those clubs, in those clubs students invent things or discover things. So to encourage them to do such kind of extracurricular activities for the development of India. Rather, it would give a boost to Made in India thing also, because the institutes, universities would be have for making out things, and they students would be reassured that their intellect or their intellect, some property that has been arisen from their intellect, or the you can say the innovations that have been done does not go into someone who does not own that. So to give reassure the students of their property, this intellectual property literacy is very important for them. Therefore, Ministry of Education has come up with Kapila program. IP refers to creation of minds such as inventions, literary and artistic works, design and symbols, names and images used in commerce. Various types of IPs are there: copyrights, patents, trademarks, industrial designs, geographical indications, trade secrets. So, industrial design, geographical indication, trade secrets, all are types of IPs. Under Kapila campaign, students in higher educational institutions will get information about the correct system of application process for patenting their innovation. So they will get information on correct how application procedure should go about for patenting their innovation. Then we come to Sarthak initiative, students and teachers holistic advancement through quality education. So it is Sarthak initiative is for holistic advancement of both students and teachers. That is, students and teachers host holistic development advancement through quality education. It would be through quality education. It gives the roadmap and way forward for the implementation of National Education Policy 2020. Sarthak initiative gives national education, talks about teacher education, quality education. So through the Sarthak initiative, it gives a roadmap or way forward on how national education policy would be implemented. It is an indicative and suggestive implementation plan for school education. Sarthak initiative is for school education, released in April 2021. Why? As a part of celebrations of Amrit Mahotsav on 75th years of India's independence. States and union territories are given the flexibility to adapt this plan with local contextualization and also modify as per the needs and requirements. Under the Sarthak initiative, states and union territories have the flexibility to modify according to their local needs and requirements. Sarthak is planned to be implemented in a phased manner. Sarthak will be implemented in a phased manner. AICTE SPICES, All India Council of Technical Education, that means tech is something that is related to the technical education. SPICES is scheme for promoting interest, creativity and ethics. Promoting interest, creativity and ethics among students. Under this, it is a financial assistance program. That is, financial support to institutions are given for development of students club for well-rounded development of students by promoting their interest, creativity and ethics. This club would serve as a model for other clubs in the institutions and also those in other institutions. Objective: it is to energize and position students club or chapters of society. It is to energize and position students clubs, chapters of societies as facilitating entity for pursuit of individual interests. So it would encourage students to form clubs, chapters, societies, so that individual interests, creative work, showcasing talent, networking and teamwork opportunities, social experience, management and organization skills, exposure to professional ethics are facilitated. Why? Because there are many premier institutes where they are having different clubs. Through this scheme, it sees that all technical education should have such kind of clubs for interest, creativity and ethics. Financial support are given for that, so that seeing on the models of these various other clubs are formed in the institutions and also in other institutions. Then we come to Institution Innovation Council, IIC 3.2. So this is not the first time, this is the third in third phase. What is IIC? Institution Innovation Council. Again, different institutions have different clubs. From their innovation should be encourage it. Then only Made in India campaign would be encouraged. So for that, Ministry of Education has come up with Institution Innovation Council. It was in 2018 only it had come. The major focus of IIC was to create a vibrant local innovation ecosystem, startup supporting mechanism in higher educational institutes, prepare institute for Atal ranking of innovation institutions and innovation achievements framework. So far, IICs have been established in about 1700 higher educational institutions, and more 5,000 higher educational institutions would be having IIC, Institution Innovation Council. Institution Innovation Council 3.0. 1700 already there, 5,000 to come up. Through this, it says that to give a fair chance of competing, so that institutions are prepared for Atal Institution of Ranking Framework, Atal Ranking of Institutions. Sorry, it is for one way of National Institution of Ranking Framework by Ministry of Education. Here, Atal Institution for Ranking for Innovation, Atal Ranking of Institutions. That is Atal Ranking of Institution on Innovations Achievements Framework. Now, what is Atal Ranking of Institutions and Innovations on Achievements Framework? So, we will be seeing Atal Ranking of Institutions on Innovations Achievement Program. Okay, what is ARIIA? So, it is Atal Ranking of Institutions on Innovations. So, it is a ranking of institutions on what? Innovation and Achievements Framework. Right, it is under Ministry of Education. To what does it do? It systematically ranks all major higher educational institutions, okay, and universities in India on indicators that are related to innovations and entrepreneurship development, because you can see most of the startups that come rise from the idea, rise from college itself or the universities itself. So under this, Government Ministry of Education has come up with ARIIA program, Atal Ranking of Institutions on Innovation Achievements Program. So through this ranking, colleges would be ranked, and once colleges are ranked, then and students from all across can take admission into these colleges based on these factors. Okay, no, so there is a pressure on the institutes to create quality education. So for this, students would aspire to join these institutions for their betterment of career and future prospect. So through this Institution Innovation Council, it is the major focus is to create a vibrant local innovation ecosystem, and hence from the seed would be put into every student for startup economy. Okay, so far IICs have been established in about 1700 higher educational institutions. So IICs, Institute for Innovation Council, has been set up in 1700 higher educational institution. IIC will be established in 5,000 higher educational institutions under IIC 3.0. So IIC was set up in 2018 itself under Ministry of Education for ranking institutes under Atal Ranking Institutions for Innovation Framework. This is the third phase. Already 1700 institutes, higher educational institutes have already set up Institutions Innovation Council. Under phase 3, more 5,000 institutes would set up. Then we have Vidya Saksharta Abhiyan, Visakha, Visakha, Shaka. Okay, Vidya Saksharta Abhiyan, to encourage, create awareness and motivate all people to use a digitally enabled cashless economic system for transfer of fund. So aim of Vishaka is to make people literate. Literate on what? Literate on digitally enabled cashless economic system. Whatever is digitally enabled, it will be cashless. So it would educate people or create awareness among people so that they can use digitally enabled, or rather digital transaction for a cashless economy. Emphasize upon cashless economy and appeal to faculty of higher educational institutions to make their respective campus cashless. So one way is make their respective campus cashless by appealing to the higher educational institutions. That is, whatever transactions would be taking there, it would be cashless transactions or online mode of transaction. So Vidya Saksharta Abhiyan, though it is for cashless economy, by hearing the name you can say that Vidya Ministry of Finance, but it is not a Ministry of Finance, it is a Ministry of Education. So this is an example of cooperative governance. Why? Because what one ministry is aspiring, like Ministry of Finance, for a cashless economy, other Ministry of Education is helping them in this way. How? Because Ministry of Education's control is over the educational institution. They are suggesting institutes to bring a cashless campus, to bring about a cashless campus. So, Ministry of Education is helping Ministry of Finance in this way to have a cashless economy. National Cadet Corps or National Service Scheme, NCC or NSS, volunteers to spread awareness about these digital modes of transactions to shopkeepers, vendors in the nearest marketplace. National Cadet Corps, NCC or National Service Scheme, NSS, volunteers to spread awareness. So, under this scheme, Vittiya Saksharta Abhiyan, who would be spreading awareness? NCC and NSS. These volunteers to spread awareness about these digital modes of transactions to whom? To shopkeepers, vendors in the nearest marketplace. Like they can use Paytm, Bhim, UPI code, all these things for their transactions. Okay. Impacting research, innovation and technology. Imprint 2.0 India. What is impacting research, innovation and technology? Imprint 2.0 India? Impacting, IMP, impacting research, R for research, innovation and technology. Here you can consider N is for technology or IN for innovation. Impacting research, innovation and technology. 2.0 India. It first of its kind, Ministry of Education supported PAN IIT plus IISc joint initiative. So it is a IIT and okay, you, tell me one thing. This thing Unnat Bharat Abhiyan, which was implemented by which IIT? Think. It was IIT Delhi who was coordinating. So it was just a random question to see that if you can remember the things or not. Okay. So imprint is impacting research, innovation and technology. It is Ministry of Education's scheme but supported by all the IITs, PAN IITs and IISC's joint initiative. It seeks to develop a roadmap for research to solve major engineering and technology challenges. Research, innovation and technology research can be done in all wide areas of subject, but here imprint for engineering and technology in 10 technology domains, not all technology domains, but 10 technology domains relevant for the country like healthcare, technology, nanotechnology, advanced resources. It is healthcare technology, nanotechnology, advanced resources, sustainable habitat, etc. Imprint 2, this national initiative, it is a national initiative, will be jointly funded and steered by the Ministry of Education and DST. It is jointly funded by Ministry of Education and Department of Science and Technology. So, imprint is by Ministry of Education because it would include the educational institutes, research in educational institutes, that too in the engineering and technology challenges in 10 technology domains. By Department of Science and Technology and Ministry of Education. Key features of imprint 2 is first is principal objective is to translate knowledge into viable technology. So whatever they are gaining in the theoretical classes sitting in the classroom, that would be translated into viable technology. Okay, so a second it will be open to all Ministry of Education funded higher educational institutions. So whatever all it would be given to higher educational institutions, but to all Ministry of Education funded higher educational institute or centrally funded technical institute. Its scope has been extended to private institutions as well. So it is not only limited to Ministry of Education funded higher educational institutes or centrally funded technical institutes, but rather to private institutes as well. Projects with industry support will be preferred. Those projects which have industry support will be preferred. The erstwhile Uchchatara Avishkar Yojana is subsumed under imprint 2. Very important. We have read about Uchchatara Avishkar Yojana in previous parts, I think in part 2. And this Uchchatara Avishkar Yojana is subsumed under imprint 2. That is higher educational institutes research in higher educational institutes have been subsumed there. Okay, Institute of Eminence scheme. What is Institute of Eminence scheme? IOE has been launched in the year 2017. Institute of Eminence launched in 2017. Okay, then Institute of Innovation Council was launched in 2018. You can see here 2018. Institute Innovation Council 2018. Then we have Impacting Research, Innovation and Technology 2.0, and then we have Institute of Eminence. So year 2017, under which UGC declared 10 public and 10 private institutions as IOEs, Institute of Eminence. 2017, UGC has declared 10 public institutes and 10 private institutes as Institute of Eminence. The objective of this scheme is to enable them to achieve rankings within top 500 in any of the world-renowned ranking frameworks. Aim. So worldwide there is a ranking framework given to higher educational institutions. So through institutions of eminence, the farthest goal, or the goal that India wants to achieve is so that 500 within top 500 institutes could be kept in the world-renowned ranking framework. Government institutions will get financial assistance up to 1000 rupees over a period of 5 years in addition to the grant already being received. So whatever grant they have received, the educational institutions, in addition to it, they would be given 1000 crores of rupees in 5 years, so that they can upgrade themselves both technologically, in research ways, in quality education, in innovation, so that they become institute of eminence. Okay, and so that they can be placed in the top 500 of world any rankings, renowned rankings. The institutions selected from the private sector will have autonomy to promote innovation and creativity. So it is not just only limited to the, we have seen that 10 public and 10 private sectors, whatever the government institutions will be there, they will be given financial assistance up to 1000 crore rupees in 5 years. But in here, for private sector, they are free to choose their, to promote, to have autonomy to promote innovation and creativity. They are free, they will have autonomy to promote innovation and creativity. AICTE, All India Council of Technical Education, has taken various quality initiatives such as examination reforms, mandatory internship, induction program for students, revision of model curriculum, internship, industry readiness accreditation, startup, and national initiative for teachers training to provide a thrust to improve quality of technical education in the country. To improve quality of technical education in the country, what has AICTE done? They have introduced several quality initiatives, like the reform in examinations, mandatory internship, induction programs for the students, the model curriculum would be revised, internship would be there, industry readiness accreditation will be there, and startup and national initiative would be there. Then we have Digital Gender Atlas for advancing girls' education. So, Digital Gender Atlas. Why? For advancing girls' education in India. Objective: help identify how low performing geographic pockets of girls. So there was another scheme related to it, specifically meant for girls. That was Udan, giving wings for girls. Okay. That would help identify low performing geographic pockets of girls, particularly from marginalized groups such as SCs, STs, and Muslim minorities, including girls with disabilities, on specific gender related education indicators. So this would help. First, it would identify low performing geographic pockets for girls. That is, those geographical areas where girls are not performing well. Which groups? Particularly from marginalized groups like SCs, STs, and Muslim minorities. It would also include girls which are who are having certain kind of disabilities, on specific gender related education indicators. And which specific gender related education indicators? Main components. First is vulnerabilities based on education indicators, and then we have trend analysis of gender indicator. Here composite gender ranking would be given. It enables a trend analysis. So what would a Digital Gender Atlas for advancing girls in education in India, what it would do? So it would make an atlas based on geographical pockets, and then it enables a trend analysis and tracking of performance of individual gender related parameters across period of time. It has been developed in collaboration with UNICEF. So Digital Gender Atlas is in collaboration with UNICEF, and with this trend analysis would be done, tracking of performance would be done of individual gender related parameters, across period of time. Okay, then we have Shala Gunvatta or Shagun Portal. Shala Gunvatta, Shagun Portal. It is a twin track approach to monitor progress of implementation of the various components of SSA, Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, while also capturing the sharing of best practices from states and union territories. So it is a Shala Gunvatta portal. Under this portal, it would monitor progress of implementation of various components. There are various components under Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan. So how far is the implementation done under Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan? That is literacy for all and also it would capture and share best practices from states and union territories. The portal has two parts: online monitoring and SSA repository. Online monitoring will capture the progress and implementation. What is Shala Gunvatta do? Shagun. So you just remember one thing, Shala Gunvatta associated with SSA. What is SSA? Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan. It has two things. One is online monitoring or capture the progress in implementation, how far SSA has been implemented, and second is SSA repository. It is a repository of innovative practices. What are success stories, evaluation report, and interventions initiated across all the states and union territories in the area of elementary education. So as we know, Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan is for elementary education. Its main focus is elementary education. So in elementary education, what are the interventions that all states and union territories have taken? Now, what are the things they have done? What are their success stories, evaluation reports, and interventions? Okay. These all would be under Shala Gunvatta or Shagun portal. Then we have Vidwan portal. Vidwan is the premier database of profiles of scientists. Vidwan is the premier, it is a database of profiles of scientists, researchers, and other faculty members working at leading academic institutions, not all academic institutions, but leading academic institutions and other research and development organizations involved in teaching and research in India. So Vidwan portal is for those faculties, researchers, scientists who has been working in leading institutions and research organizations. Okay, the database is developed and maintained by InfLibNet. Database is maintained by InfLibNet. What is InfLibNet? Information and Library Network Center. Information and Library Network Center, InfLibNet, Information and Library Network Center, with financial support from the National Mission on Education through ICT. So, Vidwan portal for research and teachers of top leading institutes and research and development organizations. The funding is done by MEICT, that is National Mission on Education through ICT, and developed and maintained by InfLibNet. So developing and maintenance by InfLibNet, but funding is by National Mission on Education. Diksha, digital infrastructure for knowledge sharing portal. Digital infrastructure for knowledge sharing portal. Initiative of National Council for Education, Research and Training, NCRT, which serves as National Digital Infrastructure for Teachers. Diksha serves as National Digital Infrastructure for Teachers. Diksha portal is for teachers. Okay. National Digital Infrastructure for Teachers. It is an initiative of NCRT. It aids teachers to learn and train themselves, for which assessment resources will be available. So through this portal, teachers can learn and then they can train themselves by NCRT, and serves as digital infrastructure for teachers. Okay, what is Diksha infrastructure? Teacher and leadership training. Lesson plans and teachers tools are there. Explanation content is there. They are having practice and homework sets, question banks and exam preparation, assessments, and then quiz. One Diksha, multiple central and state programs. Okay. Ishan Vikas, a special scholarship scheme for school students from Northeast 8 states to premier institutes for general degree course, technical and professional courses, including medical and paramedical courses. So, you know that the northeastern states are segregated, or rather they are aloof from mainland India, but are connected to it only through the Siliguri corridor that uh, runs through West Bengal. So as it is, accessing them is very difficult, or you can see in a one way they are very segregated from the culture, tradition, or whatever development activities that we have in mainland India. Although they are developed, but their development is not so rapid as in remaining states. Okay, because communication is one of the main problem here. So Ishan Vikash is mainly for development of those students from the northeast 8 states. It is a scholarship scheme. Why? For school students from northeast states to premier institutes. So students who are in the Northeast, if they want to join institutes from general degree courses, technical and professional courses, including medical and paramedical courses, they are given scholarship. So basically scholarship is for moving from school education to higher education. Coordinated by IIT Guwahati. IIT Delhi coordinated UBA, Unnat Bharat Abhiyan, and IIT Guwahati coordinates Ishan Vikas. It gives exposure to students in premier institutes such as IITs, NITs, and Indian Institute of Science Education and Research. Then another we have Ishan Uday Scholarship Scheme. So Ishan, remember the name Ishan is associated with scholarship. Ishan Vikas was for school students. Ishan Uday Scholarship Scheme is to promote higher education and increase gross enrollment ratio in the northeastern region of the country. It's to promote is to promote higher education. This thing is to promote higher education and also to increase the gross enrollment ratio in the northeast region. The scheme has 10,000 slots for fresh scholarships every year. 10,000 fresh scholarships every year for students from northeastern region whose parental income is below 4.5 lakhs per annum. Under Ishan Vikas, what we are seeing that income criteria is not included here, but in under Ishan Uday scholarship scheme, income criteria is there like 4.5 lakhs annual income. So students whose parental income is 4.5 lakhs per annum, for them who's less than 4.5 lakhs per annum, for them 10,000 slots are given every year for students of these 8 northeastern states, administered by UGC, University Grants Commission. So Ishan Vikas is coordinated by IIT Guwahati. Ishan Uday scheme is coordinated by University Grants Commission. Okay. Then we have Shala Asmita, all school monitoring individual tracing analysis Yojana. Shala Ashmita is all school monitoring individual tracing analysis to track the educational journey of school students from class 1 to class 12. So it is under Department of School Education since it deals with school education. Okay, from class 1 to class 12 across the private and government schools, not only government schools but private schools also. So what has been the educational journey of the school student? Shala Ashmita, all schools monitoring, all schools, here the name only says it's all schools, private and government schools, all school monitoring individual tracing analysis. It will be an online database which will carry information of student attendance, and it would carry information of student attendance, enrollment. So how many students is enrolled? If enrolled, whether they are attending properly or not. If attending properly, what are their learning outcomes? Then midday meal service and infrastructural facilities among others. It will carry information about student attendance and enrollment, midday meal service, learning outcomes, infrastructural facilities among other things on one platform for both private and government schools. So under one platform, what is the platform? Shala Ashmita. Okay, students will be tracked through their Aadhaar numbers. How will the students be tracked? Through their Aadhaar numbers. So that means it's mandatory here for every student to have Aadhaar, because it is the unique ID Aadhaar through which every student would be tracked regarding their performance. Okay. Then we have SWAM. SWAM has been in news since the past 2-3 years. SWAM is study waves of active learning for young aspiring minds. So SWAM, study waves of active learning for young aspiring minds to bridge the digital divide for students who have hitherto remained untouched to the digital revolution and have not been able to join the mainstream of the knowledge economy. It is an indigenous developed IT platform. So SWAM is indigenous developed IT platform that facilitates hosting of all the courses taught in classroom from 9th class till post graduation to be accessed by anyone, anywhere, at any time free of cost. So SWAM is a portal intended for those who due to certain regions are unable to have not been able to join the mainstream of knowledge economy. So for them it is a digital revolution wherein from class 9 to post graduation every subject, courses, books, resources have been uploaded there so that anyone can access them and get free education. Another one we have Swayam Prabha. It is an initiative to provide 32 high quality educational channels. Under Swayam Prabha, it would provide 32 high quality education channels through DTIs, direct to home, across the length and breadth of the country on 24/7 basis. So it is high quality educational channels. There are 24/7 education DTIs has been provided to homes directly. So this is a web-based or app-based is something related to internet, and SWAYAM provides related to DTH services. That is, you can see from your TV. How many channels are there? 32 high quality channels. Sakshar Bharat, that means Literate Bharat. What are the objectives of Sakshar Bharat? It is to impart functional literacy and numeracy to non-literate and non-numerate adults. Sakshar Bharat program, to make someone literate, those who are not literate, functional literacy and numeracy. It is enable the neo-literate adults to continue their learning beyond basic literacy and acquire equivalency to formal educational system. So it would enable the neo-literate adults who want to continue their learning beyond basic literacy and acquire equivalency to formal education system. Impart non and neo-literates relevant skill development programs to improve their earnings and living conditions. It is to impart non and neo-literate relevant skill development programs to improve their earning and living conditions. So suppose someone who do not have education, with little bit of education, literacy or numeracy, they can improve their livelihood. Promote a learning society by providing opportunities to neo-literate adults for continuing education. Eligibility criteria, a district including a new district carved out of who are the eligible persons? A district including a new district carved out of an erstwhile district that had adult female literacy rate of 50% or below as per 2001 census. Important, our recent census was 2011 census. Suppose in the question it comes that what is that? Sakshar Bharat. Sakshar Bharat program is for those population where in those districts where the female literacy is less than 50% or below less than 50% according to 2011 census. That would be wrong. It is according to 2001 census where female literacy was less than 50% in those districts. In addition to this, all left-wing extremism affected districts. So all those districts who are extremism affected, irrespective of their literacy rate. So whatever the literacy rate is, all left-wing extremist areas are also eligible for coverage under this program. Intended beneficiaries, non-literate adults in the age group of 15 years and beyond. So all those non-literate adults who are beyond the 15 years or beyond the age group. But here you can see the eligibility criteria is where female literacy is less than 50% according to 2001 census. Then we have GYAN, Global Initiative of Academics Network. It is to foster greater collaboration and exchange of knowledge between local students and faculty and international scholars. It is Global Initiative of Academic Networks. So name says GYAN Academic Networks. It is a global initiative. So in this, knowledge would be shared between local students and international students or faculty and international scholars. Like it would be a collaboration between foreign institute or students from Indian institutes where there would be knowledge sharing among them. So it is Global Initiative of Academic Network. The lectures under GYAN would be made available to the students across the country. So there would be lectures under GYAN, students, it would be made available to the students across the country through how SWAYAM and the MOOCs platform and the National Digital Library. So it would be available through SWAYAM, MOOCs platform and the National Digital Library. So GYAN, Global Initiative of Academic Networks. Okay, so through three things it will be shared: SWAYAM, MOOCs, National Digital Library. So what is MOOC? MOOC is the massive open online course which is a free online course available to anyone for enrollment. Okay. If a person wants to take a course with no limit on attendance. Then we have National Academic Depository. It is a 24/7 online storehouse of all academic awards. So National Academic Depository, all awards would be stored here, 24/7 accessible. Certificates, diplomas, degrees, mark sheets, etc. duly digitized and launched by academic institutes, board or eligibility assessment bodies. So under National Academic Depositories, these mark sheets, certificates, diplomas, degrees will be uploaded here by the boards or institutes or assessment bodies. It ensures easy access and retrieval of an academic award and also validates and guarantees its authenticity and safe storage. So first thing, it provides you an authenticity of the document. Safe storage is also provided because there is no fear of losing it. Even if we lose hard copy, there is fear of losing it. But if something is an online, then it is accessible anytime, anywhere. Okay. National Institution Ranking Framework, NIRF. It is methodology to rank institutes across the country, launched in 2015. NIRF launched in 2015. National Institution Ranking Framework. Parameter: teaching, learning and resources. See, teaching and learning and resources, quality education, research and professional practices for best competition, graduation outcomes, better job and career prospects, perception, outreach and inclusivity. Impactful policy research in social sciences, IMPRESS. So IMPRESS, imprint, these were something of older, not very new, but these are since it's still going on. So we must be aware of it. Imprint was related to research, and this IMPRESS is also related to research. Under Imprint, Uchchatara Saksharta Abhiyan was subsumed in it. Okay. Impactful policy research in social sciences. It is for social sciences. Imprint was for technology. Impactful policy research in social sciences. It aims to encourage social science research in policy relevant areas so as to provide vital inputs in policy formulation, implementation and evaluation. Under the scheme, 1500 research projects will be awarded for 2 years to support the, so there will be 1500 research projects that will be supported for 2 years to support the social science research in higher educational institutes and to enable research to guide policy making. So the main purpose of IMPRESS, that is impactful policy research in social science, is to target those areas of social sciences which are very helpful for policy research. Now, what do you mean by policy research? You can see there are various government schemes that come. For that, a proper research analysis has to be done. What could be the possible outcomes, both pros and cons? That means it's a way of research. Okay, so for these, social sciences research have been encouraged in the country through IMPRESS. Under this 1500 research projects for 2 years would be there to support the social science research in higher educational institutes and also to enable research to guide policy making. The Indian Council of Social Science and Research, ICSSR, Indian Council of Social Science and Research will be the project implementing agency. IMPRESS, project implementing ICSSR, Indian Council of Social Sciences and Research. Okay, SPARK, Scheme for Promotion of Academic and Research Collaboration. SPARK is Scheme for Promotion of Academic and Research Collaboration to boost joint research with global initiative. So academic and research collaboration, in this it would be joint research with global universities from 28 countries and get international expertise to solve major national problems. It would solve major national problems with the help of global universities, 28 countries, train Indian students in the best laboratories, deepen academic engagement and improve the international ranking of Indian institutions. Eligibility: all Indian institutions ranked in the top 100 NIRF, National Institution Ranking Framework. So those who are in the top 100 of National Institution Ranking Framework, all those top 100 in NIRF. NIRF was a ranking system started in 2017. So the top 100 in institutions would be eligible for SPARK scheme, that is Scheme for Promotion of Academic and Research Program research collaboration with international institutes. It targets PhD and postdoctoral researchers. So targets PhD and postdoctoral researchers. SPARK scheme is for PhD and postdoctoral research scholars. Okay. Foreign institutions in top 100 to top 200 of global academic rankings from 28 target countries will be eligible. So for India, top 100 institutes in NIRF ranking, and for foreign it would be from top 100 to top 200 in the global rankings. A set of nodal institutions from India for each participating foreign country has been identified to help handle and coordinate with willing participating Indian institutions to forge alliance with the institutions of concerned participating foreign country for academic and research collaboration. So one nodal institute from India has been selected for each participating foreign country. so that they can coordinate it with participating. So national nodal institutions from India, they would coordinate one participating Indian institution, so that they can forge alliance. They can come in contact to form alliance with the institute of concerned participating foreign country for academic and research collaboration. So in a way, you can say if some institute is interested in research for biotechnology sector, particular area of biotechnology. Also, another institute from foreign university is interested in the same research. Nodal institution from India, what would they do? They would help in forming an alliance with these two, so that they can coordinate in their research field. Implementing agency is IIT Kharagpur, is the national coordinating institution. National coordinating institution is the IIT Kharagpur. So IIT Kharagpur is implementing SPARK. Unnat Bharat Abhiyan, IIT Delhi was implementing, and IIT Guwahati was implementing the scholarship from, forgot the name of the scheme. I think it was, okay, from all those 8 northeastern states. What it was, the name of the program IIT Guwahati was doing, coordinating. Let me see once. It's better to check once so that you can remember it. Okay. Ishan scholarship scheme. IIT Guwahati coordinating Ishan Vikas. Okay, and then we have now Spark. Spark is coordinated by IIT Kharagpur. Operational Digital Board. It aims to set up one digital and interactive board per classroom. So, one digital and interactive board per classroom in government and government-aided schools by 2022. In government and government-aided schools by 2022. Basically, digitizing the government schools and government-aided schools by 2022. It will be introduced in schools from class 9th onwards, as well as higher educational institutions. Introduced in schools from class 9 onwards, and from higher educational institutes. It aims to make the learning as well as the teaching process interactive and popularize flipped learning as a pedagogical approach. So through this, so once you have digital board, then you can show something to them from various educational videos. Practically, they can see these kind of things. Okay, it aims to make the learning as well as teaching process interactive and popularize flipped learning as a pedagogical approach. University Grant Commission will be the implementing agency of ODB, Operation Digital Board for Higher Education. So, for higher education, University Grant Commission will be the implementing agency. Okay. Then Madhyamik and Uchchadara Shiksha course. So it will be kind of fund for Madhyamik and Uchchadara Shiksha. All proceeds of secondary and higher education cess will be credited into it. Very important. Everyone, having a government job, or those who pay tax, or they have to give certain kind of cess. So this is secondary and higher educational cess is one such cess. So all the money that is obtained through this secondary and higher education cess would be credited to Madhyamik and Uchchadara Shiksha course. A cess at 1% on central taxes, called the secondary and higher education cess. So under secondary and higher education cess, on central tax 1% tax is taken, levied through Finance Act of 2007. It is through Finance Act of 2007. The expenditure on schemes of Department of School Education and Literacy and Department on Higher Education would be initially incurred from gross budgetary support. So initially, this expenditure on scheme, so whatever schemes comes through for Department of School Education and Literacy and Department of Higher Education, they would be initially supported from the gross budgetary support, and the expenditure would be financed from MAST, that is Madhyamik and Uchchadara Shiksha course, only after the GSB is exhausted. So after the GSB is exhausted, then only the funds would be taken out from MAST, that is Madhyamik and Uchchadara Shiksha course. The fund would be operationalized as per the present arrangements under Prarambhik Shiksha Code. So there the funds would be operationalized, or the ratio, the amount that has been decided, or the agreement that has been come into terms through the Prarambhik Shiksha Code, that would be according to that these funds would be operationalized. Wherein the proceeds of cess are used for Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan and midday meal schemes of the Department of School Education and Literacy. So, and the fund would be operationalized as per the present agreements under Prarambhik Shiksha Abhiyan, Shiksha course, wherein the proceeds of the cess. So, whatever the proceeds of the cess comes, it would be used for Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan and midday meal schemes of the department and of school education and literacy. The mask would be maintained as a reserve fund in non-interest bearing section of public accounts of India. So, mask would be under public accounts of India and it is non-interest bearing. So, okay. Utilization of fund for secondary education, Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan scheme, National Means Come Merit Scholarship Scheme, and National Scheme for Incentives to Girls for secondary education. For higher education, schemes for interest subsidy and contribution for guarantee funds, scholarship for college and university students, Rashtriya Uchchatara Shiksha Abhiyan scholarship from block grant to the institutions, and national mission on teachers and training. So how would the fund be utilized? For secondary education, it would be utilized under Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan, National Merit Comes Merit Scholarship, and national schemes for incentives to girls for secondary education. And for higher education, schemes of interest subsidy and contribution of guarantee funds, schemes of interest subsidy and contribution of guarantee funds, scholarship for college and university students, Rashtriya Uchchatara Shiksha Abhiyan, scholarship from block grant to the institutions, and national missions on teacher and training. National Education Alliance for Technology, NEET, National Education Alliance for Technology. Its primary education is to use artificial intelligence to make learning more personalized and customized as per the requirements of the learner for better learning. So, every student is different, everyone's requirement is different. So, according to the learner's requirement, artificial intelligence has been used to make the learning process more targeted or personalized. NEET, National Education Alliance for Technology. NEET is to verify, aggregate and deliver EdTech solutions directly to the students. So, it would verify, aggregate and deliver EdTech solutions directly to students, giving them wide choice to select the technological solution that would suit their requirements, thereby improving the overall learning outcomes. EdTech companies would be recognized through a PPP model. So, EdTech, education technology companies, they would be recognized through a public-private partnership model. Okay, so here we complete Ministry of Education. Thank you. I know reading once or understanding once is not beneficial, but rather multiple revision is only the key to success in UPSC. So go on revising. Have a nice